Welcome to the You Heard podcast, your go-to for Miami Hurricanes football. Ben, Joe, Pope, and CB break down recruiting, hot topics, and game day action.
All right, we'll talk about it at the end.
No, let's talk about this right now because you completely flipped it on me now.
I hate him for knowing this, bro. This man knew the brand, dog.
Okay, I don't appreciate that. I'm saying, like,
what are we talking about, son?
Get into it, talking. I felt
Keep it in a buck.
Let me close these curtains real quick.
You heard. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You see it. Hey, man, just wanted to hop on here on this Saturday. Not our usual time, not our usual day, but we're going to be off tomorrow. It's Easter. You know, it's family time, so just want to take some time and chop it up with y'all, man. Hopefully y'all doing good. Got 36 with us watching right now across Twitter and YouTube. Remember, we're available wherever you get your podcast. You see it right here. We're available everywhere, man, on all audio platforms. Check us out, man. You know what I'm saying? For my brothers, Joe, Poke, and CB, I'm saying hope everybody's going to having a good Easter weekend, enjoying their time. But the college football season does not stop. It is insane. We got some things to talk about. How y'all feeling in the chat, man? Let me know what y'all thinking. We're only 3-4 days in to this portal season, to this portal weekend, to this portal time. It's crazy, right? I see a lot of fans, but why aren't we making any moves? You gotta be patient, man. As my dog barks. See, my dog's trying to let y'all know. You gotta be patient too. Shout out to About the Fans, man. Make sure to check them out, man. Always coming out with dope stuff, man. Shout out to my guy AB. We talk all the time about fonts. You know what I'm saying, shout out to my guy AB, man. Hope everybody's good. Hurricane Cowboy says Kiffin is tripping. Facts. I see what you did there too. I respect the good pun. Hurricane Cowboy. But yeah, man. Just want to look. The big name, David Stone jumped in yesterday into the portal. We'll get that at the end of the show. Towards the end, we kind of try to keep this a little bit in segments and make sure I may talk about everything. I got my notes over here to my left. Shout out to double monitors. Shout out to large fonts. But yeah, man. Look, the needs are still the needs, right? We had 4 players going to the portal: Nye Carr, Elias Rudolph, Josh Horton, and Zaquan Patterson. So we still needed a safety, still needed a D tackle. Now do we need 2 D tackles though? This is how I'm looking at it, right? Like, this is a conversation that we have all the time, whether it's the high school recruiting or the portal. Your job as the head coach, as the head of recruiting, is to get the best players that you possibly can at all times. You have multiple times to do that. You have the portal twice a year, and you have recruiting in high school. Obviously, Miami's always going to prioritize high school recruiting. You get that in waves, you get that in numbers, but you never want to just be like, nah, I'm not doing the portal, because sometimes those guys don't hit. Sometimes you don't have the numbers at a certain position, and you need the depth, and you need waves of those players. All right, so we talk about, for example, David Stone, right, jumping in the portal. Not saying that he's coming to Miami. I know it was when it was on the table, it was in between us and Oklahoma. I think there was a third team there. But you never know how things go. You never know what money's being thrown around. And again, if money's being thrown around, that's totally fine, because it's completely legal and that's completely justified to do. I'm not one of those people that cry about it, like, oh man, Oklahoma paid more. That was their right to do that. So there's nothing to cry about. When you have a player like that, you go, oh, we don't need them because we have these players like fam. Like, all right, let's say our D tackles right now are Ahmad Moten, Blay from Louisiana Tech, the transfer, Justin Scott. After that, you got Artavius Jones and Dante Simpson, a freshman, Dalen Russell, who was, I guess, injured or something last year. I could just be making that up. Don't quote me on that. All right, so that's 6, but 2 of those guys and 3 of those guys have never seen the field, and one of those guys was basically a redshirt freshman, and the other one was a freshman. So you really just have 3. Ahmad Moten goes down with an injury. Then what do you have? You have 2 and 3 guys you can kind of trust. You can kind of figure it out. What's the plan here? To be the most dominant team in college football and possibly make it to minimum ACC championship, and college football playoff, right? You have to throw numbers at that position. It is a position of need on every team. It's why it's so important to get that piece. Yeah, look, there's a lot of people tripping. We'll get into that, Ham. So you have to get numbers. I think you get 2 D tackles for me. Again, it's not my money. I do donate to Kings Connection. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to do my small part in trying to get this team back. Very small part. You know what I mean? But it's try to get this team back to where I think it should be. But yeah, man. Like the numbers got to be the numbers. And we'll talk about those positions. Just want to touch on D tackle real quick. But I did want to talk about the news of the last 12 hours, I guess. Lane Kiffin. And it's not just Lane Kiffin. It's more so about the narratives that are being said about Miami and how it starts, right? Like you could just look at it, put on your, you know what I'm saying, your conspiracy theory tinfoil hat type shit if you want. Ryan Clark this week. He probably recorded it earlier in the week with Lane Kiffin. They just dropped it later. So it's probably where he got his number from, right? The whole $4 million is Lane Kiffin told, there's 4.3. But let's listen to Lane Kiffin say this. Shout out to On3 again. On3 is also the people who dropped the graphic saying that that's what they were paying Carson Beck. Let's bring this back. Make sure y'all hear this.
It's crazy, Coach, that you bring up the NFL structure with college now because they're in the contract. They're making money. They're making millions of dollars. I think down in Miami, what's Carson Beck?
4.3.
4.3 million. I think my biggest year was 6. He's a college kid. So, like, you bring up the comparison of what they're doing. They're really getting NFL money.
Miami gave him $4.3 million.
That's what the evaluation says. Hey,
Did they watch this game against us?
You don't have to be great, Coach. Hey, Lane, you don't.
I was trying not to go. You set me up.
It's crazy.
Now, the evaluation isn't what's being paid, right? Like that's what the market says that Carson Beck is worth. That's not what Miami gave him, right? You don't know what Miami gave him. Miami don't tell y'all. Miami don't tell us nothing. Miami ain't telling y'all specifically nothing. I don't understand. Also, like they're inferring that that's wrong. Like I can't believe they give. That's what are you talking about? He's a 2-time SEC champion. I'm not saying. Let's say they did give him 4. Let's do the hypothetical. So what? What does that change? Oh, Ole Miss beat him 1 time. Okay, he's beat you 3 other times. What are we talking about here, man? Like, it's just this is. And I wanna ask y'all something. We got 60 people right here in the chat rocking with me on a random Saturday that we rarely do. Appreciate y'all. Make sure to hit that like button, man. You know what I'm saying? Share and subscribe and all that. What's interesting is that for what's the narrative? What are we saying? What's being said? What's being done that's wrong? Let me move this back. There we go. What's being said done that's wrong in any of that? It's all legal, right? Why do you guys never know the numbers of another school of what they gave a D tackle for Notre Dame, a safety that went to Ohio State that left Alabama when Nick Saban retired? You never know those numbers, right? There's never a graphic for Caleb Downs. There's never a number. There's whispers and like, oh, I heard, but there's never a concerted effort from a big time recruiting company dropping that money. We're like, yo, so-and-so got 5 million. So-and-so got 2.6. There's never those graphics, right? So the numbers put out there was like, yo, look how much Miami's paying. So what, man? You think anybody that, like Kennedy Urlacher, to use an example, right? Went from Notre Dame to SC today, earlier, which is the safety that I wanted. And we talked about it on the show. You don't know how much he got, but you know he transferred there. But if David Stone comes to Miami, I'm guaranteeing you there's going to be an article written up, a graphic dropped, and that's how narratives and issues start to happen because they go, yo, you gave this guy this much money. Why didn't you give it to him? It's what it feeds fans who just see a graphic and are just scrolling through like, yo, shit, we gave Carson Beck $4 million. So also, Ryan Clark, you said $4 million on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday morning or Tuesday. And whenever you recorded this Pivot podcast, which by the way I'm a fan of, I like Pivot podcast. I like the podcast. I think it's hilarious. I think they do a great job over there, except when Schultz called out Ryan Clark for his BS. It was weird. It was weird. It's like stand on business. But yeah, man, like I don't know. I just don't understand why. And look, completely being honest, it could just be my algorithm, right? Where like I'm just seeing that people are talking about Miami. I just don't see an on 3 dropping the graphic because that's a big time recruiting thing and college football thing. Like I don't see them dropping a graphic on how much other players at other schools are getting paid, but the consistent graphic, and they're the ones that clipped that on 3. By the way, they're the ones that clipped that right there. So. Why is Miami's money being talked about? Because it's one of the like, are we broke? Are we paying Carson Beck $4 million? According to Mike Ryan, who's tapped in from the laboratory show, that's not even the number. We don't know the number. It's just being thrown out there. It's weird, man. Because then like, let's say Miami wins, right? And it's like, oh, but look how much they paid other guys they're supposed to win. Nobody knows the number. Nobody knows what Ruben Bain is making. Nobody. Let me say it like this: there's people that know what they're making, but it's not our business to tell you if that's what they know, right? Because I don't want to know what my friends make. That the people that I do this show, like that's not I've never been a pocket tapping type guy. That's just never been my business, man. Ham 850 says, ask Lane Kiffin on Carson Beck led them up 2023, 52-17, Beck over 300 yards passing. Exactly. Also, ask Lane Kiffin what it was like, how he left Tennessee. Like, Lane Kiffin has hit the transfer portal more than most coaches in a generation and in a lifetime. He's done it in 15 years. The guy's coached everywhere, right? And he needed a rehab. He needed a redshirt season for a couple seasons with when he went back to Alabama to be the OC because he had tarnished his. Like people glaze him over now, but he tarnishes his whole reputation, which how he did Tennessee, and how he failed at a bunch of other places till he learned how to be an actual head coach with Nick Saban. Like you see how it gets all that stuff gets passed over. Now he's like this offensive guru. Nick, he hits the portal more than anybody. You think those players that jump in the portal and go to him are there for free? You think people are going? By the way, shout out to Ole Miss. There's nothing, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with them, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're paying their players too, bro. It's nasty work, man. Let's see here. Ham hitting the comments crazy. Appreciate you, my brother. Ohio State paying to keep players on their team. Yo, look, everybody's doing that. Everyone, Miami's doing that. That's the business. That's the business. But again, like the thing is like other teams don't get talked about and get a graphic or a recruiting service clipping a podcast saying how much Carson. See, that's the narrative, and that's the shit I'm talking about. And you're 100% right, Philip. No one cares what Bryce Underwood is making, but they all up in exactly. Fam, the thing is that was put out, but that doesn't get talked about. They put the graphic out, same one on 3. Just you, because they're the ones that do it, right? Like when they do it, it's like, oh, so and so. What was it? Nico was making 9. That never got brought up. It got brought up now when you wanted more money, but it was that one time thing, and you forget about it. Nico got 9 out of high school. Well, Bryce Underwood is getting whatever he's getting that one time, but it doesn't get talked about again. An actual SEC championship quarterback, like sorry, he's unproven. Like he's unproven, or hasn't done it in some way. It's wild, yo. Shout out to my guy Flag. Says, "What good, bro? I see you dropping the weight, bro. Keep it up." Hey, man, appreciate it, man. We stay on it, man. I'm staying locked in. Staying locked in, dog. Staying away from sodas and all that, man. Shout out to my guy Flag, man. Let's see. 904. Appreciate you, my brother. Carson Beck is making in the neighborhood of 2.4. He has a jet deal from Georgia. This is what everyone is reporting, 4 million plus. There you go. 904. Your sentences right here is probably more context than that's ever been given for the money. And again, like if all that is true, and I'm gonna take it at face value. So what? You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is like, why is it being talked about across? First of all, it sounds great because like, yo, this is how much money we have. But then next year, if you have to get another portal quarterback, that guy has to meet those standards to give them that. Unless you drop, or you're honest with them, like, yo, man, Carson Beck won 2 SEC championships. You're coming from where you're coming from. The money and the contest and the games weren't the same. So you gotta be different. Jay, this has been our entire lives, right? Ever since we became Canes, we saw it this way. And it is like, my wife is the same one. My wife was like, man, they really talk about Miami crazy. I was like, yeah, this is what I've experienced my entire life. And this is, we lived this shit before social media, before that time. So now we're looking at it like, yo, like, we still keeping up with this? Like, you got a whole computer on your hand right now. You can look up that you're talking crazy. But like, nah, I'm gonna stick with narratives and clickbait. Now, another one that stuck with narratives and clickbait. Coach Fran Brown from Syracuse cut that WWE promo. Had to say promo because it is WrestleMania weekend. You're not watching WrestleMania, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you catch it. It's gonna be something. Look, he talking about Trebor Pena is gonna get paid they're offering him $2 million. Okay. What's the problem? If somebody's offering him $2 million, which again, the inference, they're making it seem like that's Miami that's gonna pay the $2 million. There's no proof of that. I don't know if I would pay $2 million if I'm keeping it a buck. But look, if Penn State that he went to visit first, for example, right? If Penn State is offering him, throwing out random numbers, I don't know any numbers. I'm not, for visits you get, you know what I'm saying? Say they gave him $25,000 to visit Penn State, throwing out numbers. Okay, that money he gets to keep. If the negotiations go, yo, look, we evaluate you, we at your evaluation at 1.8 because of, you know what I'm saying, you're a hot commodity in the slot and you can play outside, This is what we give you. Fam, that's just the business. That's just like, that's what they could give him. And if Syracuse, you ain't got it, you need to be worried about keeping your own team. You're starting D tackle left, 2 offensive linemen left. You're starting 2 offensive linemen left. That's after your head coach cut a WWE promo. That's after he tried to talk tough. You talk so tough, you're walking your team out the door. And you also took a transfer portal. Like, it's weird, dog. Like, you took a transfer portal quarterback last year. Common Core set every ACC record, and he did a great. And look, and that's the business, and you give him credit for that. Torched the worst defense in the ACC. But we're not going to talk about that. We've just moved past spring, so let's leave 2024. We're in 2024, and all that pain and suffering that defense was. Now, Fran Brown cuts his promo. His team is leaving. Is he cutting that promo to be like, yo, the guys that we keep are going to be real football players, but you're still going to pay them, right? Like, you still have to pay them. It's not like all of a sudden they're going to come here and play for the love of the game, because they still need to provide for their families and all those other things, which I want to talk about at the end. But yeah, man, it's just, fam, like, there's no reason to cut those promos when you know you have to pay. This is the business. We're not going back to when all these football players were getting money under the table in a secret and quiet time. That's all that is out the window. You see it now. You saw what I talked about for the first 20 minutes. The money is out there. Somebody's gonna get it. But they said Cam Moore got $8 million last year. Yeah, it was it? They rounded up. They gave him to like 8.5. It started low, right? It was like 1.5, then 2.5. No, Miami gave him this one. They keep raising the number to make it look worse and worse, as if paying the players is the bad part. This is the business, fam. This is the business. 904 says Carson Beck down here still as good as Miami's 4th all-time single season record, which is crazy. Held by Ken Dorsey. Beck did his thing in Georgia with 102nd rushing offense and leading the nation in drops. Yeah. Like, it's always, Mo, shout out to my brother Mo. It's always a lack of context, 904. And you're 100% right. Like, he had it down here last year. He lost a ton of players to the NFL. Lost Brock Bowers, his slot guy, lost a ton of production to the league, and they didn't replace it. Georgia got hit with Georgia guys that normally would have gone to Georgia went other places because of NIL. So now you got to step your game up because it's a new day. I tell y'all all the time, if you listen to the show, you know, right now in this hour of show, the college football that we're talking about is going to be different an hour from now. As I'm talking to you guys, there might be 3 guys that hit the portal and be like, yo, we got to get them. or a Miami player is going into the portal because we don't know. It can all change. This is Miami's fighting roster retention and trying to get guys from other teams. This is happening every second. I don't know when the staff sleeps, but this is what they're doing. 908 says we need 2 D tackles, 1 safety, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back, 1 QB. Are you saying that 908 if a quarterback leaves? Because Emery's still up in the air, right? As of right now, I'm talking with y'all, so I'm not on Twitter. Emery hasn't left yet, right? He's still there. So if Emery leaves, or you still want a quarterback regardless. I think I still want a quarterback regardless, so I'm keeping it in the buck. Shout out to my guy Mo, and this was impromptu, fam. Like, this is not obviously the days that we're on. We're on Sundays and Wednesdays at 6, but we're taking tomorrow off for Easter. You know what I'm saying? Spending some time with the family. So I hope everybody's good. Hope everybody is having a good Easter weekend, enjoying it. It's also WrestleMania weekend if you're going to watch. So give me a second. I need to drink some water. Y'all let me know in the chat, man. What do you want out of this transfer portal? You know what we got last year? Damian Martinez, Tyler Barron. I think Simeon Barrow came later. What else? The wide receiver, Sam Brown. So how y'all feeling about this year's transfer? What do you want? What do you want out of this transfer portal? You could drop players' names. You could drop positions. Let's see what we got. Jay Freeman says, I don't think we need 2 wide receivers. It's time to let the young Canes eat. Jay, I'm with you on this. Right? Let the young players play. What do you have behind the young players in case a young wow, Spanish accent came out. A young player gets hurt or something. Right? So let's go down the line. Nye Carr left. Right? So you got Josh Moore. Going off the top of my head. Josh Moore. Chance Robinson's not quite right. You have Malley. You have JoJo. You have CJ Daniels. You have Ray. Right? Am I missing anybody? Is that 5? Let me know. Y'all let me know if I'm missing anybody. That's 5, right? And you got Elijah Lofton. You want to use him as a end, you know what I'm saying, as a receiver in that position. That's 5. One of those guys goes down. Your numbers look. I think we need to, especially with Nye Carr leaving. So just look at it this way, right? We needed one. We know we needed one before Nye Carr bounced into the portal. That we talked about that for a month ahead of time. And Dylan Upshaw, you're right, my fault. So 6, right? So we know we needed one before Nye Carr jumped in the portal. So if we needed one before and one left, you kind of need 2 just numbers wise, right? And it doesn't have to be, for me. It's tough though, because like, how do you negotiate with a player? Like, look, man, we want you on the team. We'll give you this much money, but you're gonna have to sit behind these guys. So like, you go big, right? You go big for a guy. We need a big time outside receiver and a serious slot. You know what I'm saying? With a ton of snaps and production. Trebor Pena, only one healthy year. I'm not 100% on that. I'm not 100% sold. We have 7? No, we have 6, right? Let's run those numbers. Y'all leave it in the comments. Let me know all 7 players, because I thought it was 6. I still think we need 2. Yeah, Dylan Upshaw, JoJo, CJ, Malley, Ray. I hate doing this but not looking at a number. I think like I should just pull up the roster, but I don't want to start clicking away, because people who listen to this be like, yo, all I hear is clicking in my ear, and I know I will hate that. So the young guys got to play, but you also have a 1-year quarterback in Carson Beck. You have to make sure you surround him with the most talent possible. Not saying that those young guys aren't talented, but we just don't know what they are yet. How much did we see from, like, I got to see a little bit. How much did we see from spring? The couple of clips that the people on campus could show us, and that was it. So we really don't know. So as a level of comfort, wouldn't you want to go with something proven and dedicated snaps and that you could watch film on? Okay, this is what I'm going to get from this person. This is what I'm going to get from this receiver. He's a deep threat. He could play the slot. He brings all these things to the table. Right now, we have talent, 100%. And I'm not saying that even the guys you bring in from the portal. Because look, a couple years ago, we brought in Tyler Harrell. We're thinking, oh, he runs like a 4.2. Dude barely saw the field. You bring him in. You pay him what you got to pay him. Again, not my money. And then you go, all right, let's see what we got here. Because if any of those guys get hurt, you already have the crazy stuff is, I'm trying not to curse as much. Crazy stuff is you have already a lack of experience. And if any of those get injured in any play or any practice in the fall or in football, then what do you have? You have less experience and less players. So it's just a numbers issue for me. Because I worry about the injuries, right? Like we look how many offensive linemen we have. We know we have 4 out of the 5 starters locked in from the previous year. And you still have guys behind them. Like if the case was, we don't need any more offensive linemen, then we wouldn't get 4 to 5 every year since except for year 1, since Cristobal and Maribel have got here. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to watch, let me make sure I give them credit, man. Go watch the Miami Mayhem on the Miami Flow Network interview with Coach Maribel. It was fantastic. My guy Lex and AO did a great job just being pure fans and just trying to pick Coach Maribel's brain throughout that whole conversation. It was fantastic. And if you ever get a chance, Google or you go to YouTube, type in Coach Maribel or Alex Maribel and watch his TED Talk that he gave at Columbus, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. It's dope. You get a real insight of how much and how passionate he is as a teacher. Highly recommend it, man. If you got, you're chilling at home, just kicking back on the couch with a couple cold ones, watch that stuff, man. It's dope. Little bit of a different take on stuff, and it's really interesting. All right, so you have that. Now, so wide receivers. So let's go to D tackle, right? D tackle, you have Artavius Jones, Justin Scott, Ahmad Moten, David Blay, Dante Simpson, freshman, and redshirt freshman Dalen Russell. That's 6, right? 6. If I don't know how much you're going to expect or how much snaps Dante Simpson and Dalen Russell are going to get, so that's 4. Yeah, CJ. Yeah, Chance hasn't been healthy. Right? I don't know if he is healthy. I hope he is healthy. I don't, you know what I mean? Like Chance is not, I don't know what Chance is. Right? Yeah, so that's 7. I'm not counting Chance in that just because I don't know what Chance is yet. I don't know if he's 100%. I don't know. I don't know that. I just haven't seen him on the field. So yeah, 7. I still take 2. I still take 2 because realistically, right? Dalen Upshaw might get some snaps, yes. But realistically, you kind of cut it off at Tony. Well, no, CJ, because I was saying as like rankings, I would put CJ, JoJo, Ray, Tony. Because I think Joshua Moore is going to back up CJ. So we'll see what that rotation is. If you listen to the show, Jay, you've been here for a minute. You know my biggest issue is the lack of rotation at the receiver spot. So you kind of go, okay, what are their top 4 receivers? And is that all they have? Because that's been the issue with Ray not getting the snaps. Again, he was playing behind X. How many times are you going to take X off the field? Would have been nice for 10 of those times to just see what Ray has with a Cam Ward. You know what I'm saying? Just maybe 5 to 6 snaps a game just to kind of have some data to be like, okay, Ray can take that next spot. We don't really have it. We didn't really see it. So these are all question marks. Every single one here. We know what Malachi is from high school. Again, got to see him play. Got to see him when they won in the first round of the playoffs. We don't know what we have. JoJo, yes, we saw it in the Pop-Tart Bowl, but that's the only time we saw it. Fighting off a couple little things. Didn't get to see him in spring. They held him out. So it's just all these are questions. The only one with that is where is it? Right here in CJ. We have film on him. Not much film on anybody else. Yeah, so then you got the tackle. I don't know if I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that There isn't film that I can point to be like, yo, this is what I can see. Also, what if you pick? I don't want to do the what if. I just don't want to do the what if. But it's also you have to. All I'm saying, Jay, is like you have to have assurances, right? If one of those guys, you have 7. If one of those guys, 8. What if another guy hits the portal? Because we don't know. What if another guy what if a guy gets injured and fall? Then you have 5 to 6, and you didn't back those up because I'm gonna keep it a buck. And as I'm saying this, I'm just kind of thinking, look at how bad our secondary was last year. We didn't have any options behind that. We had to play who we had to play because there was nobody pushing those guys. There was nobody behind them at all. OJ had to start. OJ didn't win. OJ didn't beat anybody out for that position because there was nobody to beat. Does that make sense? And I don't want that again. I don't want we're kind of comfortable doesn't do it for me. We're fine in this position doesn't do it for me. It just doesn't. No, Mo, I think we need 2. We needed 1 before Nightcar left. With Nightcar leaving, now you need 2. Just numbers. It's just numbers. So let's go. D tackle. Appreciate y'all. Let's move on to D tackle. So you have JoJo. Imagine JoJo playing D tackle. That'd be crazy. You have Justin Scott, David Blay, Ahmad Moten, Dante Simpson, Artavius Jones, Dayton Russell. Right? I got my names right. That feels pretty good. That feels like a solid guess right off the top of the dome. So Dante Simpson, freshman, might be a year away. Not saying he is, might be. I don't want to rely on freshmen straight off the bat because that especially at that position. Dante Simpson, Dayton Russell. Dayton Russell, they didn't play last year, might have been in the lab. That's fine. So you really just have count like snaps wise. You have Justin Scott, David Blay, Ahmad Moten, and who's 4th? Who's that 4th guy? You're gonna toss in Armando Blunt in the middle. This is the hope. This is a number like they rotate a D tackle. You're gonna get snaps. The top guys are going to see the field. You're gonna rotate them in and out, and you're gonna see what they have. David Stone will be a great addition to this DT room. Damian Lewis, please make the call. And also, like, I don't care that he picked Oklahoma. Look, family reasons are family reasons and things like that. That's fine. We still remember watching him when they were playing in Jersey, and his grandma in the background had a green shirt on. There's no green in Oklahoma. I'm sure they got grass, but that's only like there's no green in those colors. You have to have. I still look. If I ain't gonna hold you, Jay, I would get 2. I would get. Yes, it probably breaks the back. But again, it's not my money. I don't know what the allocated funds are for that. You also lost a good amount of players to the portal, so you have extra money, unless that got pushed around to the rest of the team to keep certain players. You don't say, I don't know. That's their business. That's their money. That's fine. Get 2. I get the Syracuse one. Again, D tackles are going to be absolutely astonishingly expensive, but you get 2 because you just need the numbers, bro. Like, again, like it's where you spend that money at. And D tackles, shout out to the Flow Chat, man. If you're not give them a quick plug. If you're not a member of the Discord, man, please, you know what I'm saying, check out the Discord for Miami Flow. They did like three Discord chats yesterday. Great information. What happened in that chat stays in that chat. That's not my business to say. But Murad Watson is another one from Syracuse. Big body, 6'3", 320, 330. You have to bring those guys in. You have to bring those quality of players in. It's crazy. Let's see what 904 says. Miami actually benefits more if David Stone comes down with Oklahoma picking up the tab on his first year of development. Absolutely right. Look, they got 2 big tackles that year, right? They beat Miami out, respectfully. It's for the Jackson kid. They were basically played next to each other, and David Stone was behind the guy. And David Stone, was honest about his first year. He got the first year in the SEC. And if you don't know, we got 101 people checking us out right now. Appreciate y'all. Again, we're on today because we're not going to be on tomorrow due to Easter. We're going to be with our families. So, look, he took the first year. He played in the SEC. And the SEC players that jump in the portal in spring are not allowed through a bylaw or something, are not allowed to join another SEC team. So that means we're going to be fighting off the Big Ten, other ACC teams, and the Big 12 for the pleasure of having David Stone finally be a Miami Hurricane. Look, we were right there in the recruitment 2 years ago. We'll see what happens. But till it happens, till he signs, until he transfers, I don't get hyped up like, yo, this is a Miami Miss. I don't look at it that way. We're fighting off every other program that also has money. He could, you know what I'm saying? Like so it's a lot to go, and let's just hope we get it across the finish line. I don't even know if we're in the starting blocks. Kind of hope we are because we were there so late in his recruitment in his senior year at IMG. And again, the connection with Francis, they play together. He was a year behind Francis. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes. We'll get a little drink real quick. So, safety. We know we needed one. Same shit. Broken record here, feels like. We know we needed one going into leaving spring. Zaquan Patterson leaves, visiting another school. I think he has another school visit lined up. So now we need two, right? Because I thought Zaquan would have been in the rotation. I guess I was wrong. So now we need two. You have who's ever out there. Again, like we see the names going in every day. I think Joe said it on Wednesday's show. 1,000 players went into the portal on Wednesday alone. Hundreds of players have gone into the portal since. So this is just the first 3 days, right? We still have until next Friday. Next Friday, the portal closes. Again, you have to enter the portal by next Friday, which is going to be that weird thing, though, because you'll have to enter the portal by next Friday, but your names will still be over the weekend because remember, you have that 72-hour wait where like the player has that 72, like they submit their paperwork. They have 72 hours to withdraw their name. You saw that earlier this week with the safety from Florida, Gregory Smith. He jumped in, jumped out, and then jumped back in again. Like that's their option. So then you go next Friday. You have submit your paperwork, but names will still be dropping over that following weekend and that Monday, because those will be names that were dropped in on Friday. So we don't know. We really won't know until next Monday. Next Monday, what the final list of names are. And you still have grad students, grad transfers that can jump in the portal. It rolls right into recruiting weekends because that starts in the beginning of the middle of May or all of May and June, because July's a closed month, like no contact. You can't communicate with anybody. So yeah, man. So now you need for me. My shopping list. I'm saying this is their 2 D tackles, 2 wide receivers. If Emory jumps in the portal, you'll need a quarterback. I'm not sure who's out there. There's a bunch of guys that are getting paid now, so shout out to them. I haven't focused on quarterback. I just kind of hoped and making sure that Carson Beck is healthy for fall. That's kind of been my focus. I haven't really looked at that quarterback transfer portal area. You're gonna need a running back. Right, you're gonna need running back on just for depth. Yes, you have Jordan again, but it goes back to the same thing. Like if you have Jordan Lau and Mark Fletcher, yes. You have Chris Willie Humphrey, Gerard Pringle, yes. If your 2 main guys take a thing, twist an ankle, anything, are for an extended period of time, then you have 3 running backs. Numbers wise, you got to get another guy in there. Joe said it. You got to get another guy in there, a veteran running back that's experienced, or maybe an up and comer. I don't know. I don't know what their process is for that. Like you gotta shore up every position the best you can, and you're like, it's crazy. Like let's think about this ish before. See, I didn't cuss there. Let's think about this before the portal. Before it would just be recruiting, and you had what you had. Could you imagine going into a season and knowing we had these holes, knowing we have these weaknesses and you couldn't do anything about it, you're afforded the ability to be like, yo, you know what, this young guy or this guy can't get right, is always hurt, can't really rely on him. You can get a guy. You have that ability to do that now. Just do it. You know, also it's very easy for me to say, I'm not spending the hundreds of thousands, possible millions of dollars to get these players. That's not my role. That's not where I'm at with it. But like, you're afforded the ability to get those players, get them as best you can. And look, their evaluations are different. This is their livelihood. This is what they do. So make sure you get those positions when you can, and shore up those issues when you don't have an excuse not to. Right? I'm not saying reach for a guy. Like, if you feel comfortable in the room, don't overpay a guy that you're like, well, he could be okay. I don't want that. You know, we've done that in the past with this, you know, as the portal changed and evolved. Don't want that to happen. I just want, you know, I just don't want the weaknesses from last year, bro. I don't want the coulda, woulda, shouldas. Yo, we could have gone after that guy. We would have gone after that guy, but, you know, we should have gone after that guy, but I just don't want that. Spo SP1 says we need 2 veteran linebackers. 100%. 100%. Look, the argument is, again, we have a talented linebacker group, right? A talented linebacker room. They're young, unproven. Can they play? Yes. Look, Cameron Bobby Pruitt, y'all already know how I feel about him. I think he's outstanding. Okay. I need experience in that room. We had experience last year. We had Kiko and Wes, and we still got Jalen Alderman. We had the most experienced linebackers we've had, right? If we had that experience coming into this year, I'd feel better about it, right? We had those guys, and we still got a guy. We have less experience because Wes is really Chase. We have Chase Smith that's been there forever. Chase Smith doesn't have that much tape that you could lean on, right? You have Wes, and then Popo's had moments. Okay. When is it consistent? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need, like, again, assurances, man. Like, I don't know what the market or what the valuation is for linebackers. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of linebackers going into the portal, plenty of linebackers not going into the portal that we want to go in the portal, whatever. Specific linebacker at Louisville. But you just need talented, reliable pieces that have really good snaps under their belt. Not just played because there was nobody in front of them. Ham, my brother, I hope to God, bro. Chase Smith, his dedication to football after an atrocious injury, an atrocious, horrible injury, and he bounced back and he's fighting back and stayed through, what is this now, 7 portals, right? 7 portals, and he stayed through and stuck with it. They clearly see something in him. Joe has been a huge advocate for Chase Smith, and he might be a problem, 100%. But I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. And this is why. 904 says it. Chase is really starting to flash. We just need him to stay healthy. You are 100% correct. Right? 100% 904. But what if he doesn't? Then what do you have? Get that in. What do we have after that? Look, there's young guys that are talented. I'm a big fan of Colin Wiley. Love Popo. Cameron Bobby Pruitt, I think is going to be a problem. Could be that crazy star kind of position where he plays a safety and a third linebacker, because I think his coverage is one of the best on the team. All of that. But no sabemos. We don't know. The not knowing is what bothers me. When I could watch film and be like, yo, that's it. Okay, I see it. I was watching Boise State linebacker tape yesterday. They mentioned, let me check this out. Andrew Simpson. I was okay. All right. Okay, I see. Again, but like, I don't want to get hyped up and be like, yo, this guy's, and then you don't get him. Like, okay. I'll graze over. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch it. Okay, I'll see what's going on here. But I don't get too hyped up. Like, yo, it'd be great to have him, because then you don't get him, and then you set up this thing of an expectation in your head when you fail to realize that there's 100 other teams, except for Florida State because they're irrelevant, 100 other teams trying to get this player because they also need linebackers that don't have the amount of players on NIL that you do, that don't have the level, you know what I'm saying, and have a little bit more money and can pay him that difference, and then it becomes a challenge. I don't know. I don't know. I thought this is what Stanquan Clark was a guy that I would have loved to have when he was going through the recruitment process. Whatever happens through that recruitment. I would love for him to come. But South Florida guys, for some reason, love staying in Louisville. Teddy Bridgewater, and Lamar Jackson, like they have a thing with Louisville, and it works out for them. And best of luck to them. But this would be a guy I would absolutely love to jump in the portal. I haven't heard anything, and if I did, I wouldn't know what to do with that information because you know how we do. We just give reactionary takes and give a deeper conversation into little things like how we're doing here. But if he jumps in, I'm jumping on a YouTube short and going crazy because that's a must get for me if he jumps in. I'm saying he is, but that's a must get for me because I think he'd play with a ferocity that we need. Pro as a baller needs to start and be on the field. That I already said that, Mo. Thank you for reiterating everything I just said. I always appreciate you listening. FTW says 9 linebackers, 2 play on the field. Yep, absolutely. We have them. I just want more experience in that room, man. It's a lot of young guys, right? A lot of young guys. Again, I go back to it. Maybe it's just 1 or 2. Maybe it's one killer and another body, right? That's complete possibility. But last year we had 2 second-year starters in the defense, right? Because Wes and Kiko were there in year 1 with whom we shall not speak. He was there. They were there. And we still got Jalen Alderman. We have a new defensive coordinator that also coaches the linebackers. He's going to want his own guy there. Derek Nicholson did the same last year. You're going to want your own guys there. That's just the business. Maybe I'm not saying this, but maybe those guys aren't catching it. Maybe he has a specific body type that he has in mind and a specific skill set that isn't on the team. We don't know what that is. He sees things differently than we do. Coach Heatherman. So we got to see what it is. We need a lot of them to leave if they can't help us. Can't say that yet, though, because it's only these are young guys. Kellen Wiley's a freshman. Cameron Bobby Pruitt is a sophomore. Aldarius Hayes is a sophomore. They're still young. The years like it's that weird balance, right? Where like they need to help this year, but they need a year. We need guys to help this year, but also the young guys need a year to develop. Because that development still matters. That is also part of the process. We can't just be like, I'm washing my hands at you, man, and if you're not a superstar by a sophomore. We also are, for most of us, are in our late 30s and 40s. We saw a time when guys stayed through year 1, 2, and 3 and had that 4th year and absolutely blew it out the water. Right? How many running backs did we have? How many linebackers did we have when we all fell in love with this hurricane shit? Right? All those years are gone. We have to find that right balance and those right personality traits that go, look, I'm not perfect year 1, but I'm going to work my ass off and be a dominant force by a junior and show levels and increment and development through those years. It's a very thin line between wash your hands of a freshman or a sophomore and development of a freshman or a sophomore while you're also getting proven commodities and talent coming in through the portal. You know, that's just what I just want assurances in those positions. Again, bro, like the defensive side, you have to understand it was so bad and so hard to watch. I saw my guy John O'Flow on Twitter said he likes to watch like last year's football. I can't go back and watch it because unless I'm watching like half the game and it's only when Cam Ward has the ball, because watching the defense was just so difficult for me, man. It was a challenge, bro, because it was like the same mistakes. Like, oh, look, we're going to give up the edge. Look, our safeties are going to be out of position. All those things happen. I just couldn't do any of those things again, bro. I just couldn't. 904. That seems so short and so far away, bro. 134 more days till August 31st to beat Notre Dame. That's like right around the corner, but also That's so long. That's so far, bro. I'm gonna try and be in the building, man. That Sunday night is a tough one, bro. Is a tough one. All right, man. So what? We ran safety, defensive tackles, wide receiver, quarterback, possibly if Emory jumps in the portal. A lot of rumors and stuff being said about that. We'll see what he chooses, and a running back. I don't like giving predictions, Professor, but I really really hope so, man. I would love for that to be like. Honestly, I'll put it like this: I would love for this to be the splash for people to be like, okay, we are doing something. You know what I mean? Because right now, there's been thousands of names going in the portal, thousands. Mo, you're never allowed to speak again. I'm for that comment alone, sir. I won't do this. I love you like the brother I never wanted, and I don't like, you know what I'm saying? But no, sir, no, I don't. I think he's going somewhere else. So back to you, Professor. I would love for this to happen for those of us that followed the recruitment. If we listened to the show back then, for us, it was one of my top guys. It was one of our top guys on the show. David Stone was an absolute freak of nature. Love to have him on the team. We need the depth at D tackle. I think he'd be pushing the other guys, and he'd be getting snaps on the field 100% because we do rotate our D line a lot, keep everybody fresh. I would love to be this one big pickup that we get to like kind of settle the fan base, so people be like the ones who are just, I don't want to say casuals because that's the ones who are just following you, like, yo, there's so many names going into the portal and we're not getting anybody. You get this guy, like, oh, okay, just to kind of settle things down, everybody to be calm, like, all right, moves are being made, conversations are being had, and this was a big time get because it's a position of need regardless. Again, I want him and Watson. I'm not saying we're going to get both. I highly doubt we'll get both, right? Because I think the money at D tackle's bananas, right? But I would like to get both personally. Just competition, man. Like when you get beat out for a position, it's just that's what happens, right? The people have to sit or people leave. That's the business of the game. Mo says he wants that jelly. No, okay, cool. I don't. He got beat out by a freshman. I think CJ Carr is going to be the guy who we're facing year one. Or week 0. I think it's week 0, right? Yeah. That weekend is week 0. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. I'm not too keen on that guy. I know he had a couple good snaps, but I don't think he's coming here to be a backup, Mo. I think he wants to be a starter. The reason why he left Notre Dame was because he was going to be a backup. He wants to go somewhere and get snaps, and he's not going to get a single snap here behind Carson Beck. That's just, I think you need a different kind of quarterback. I don't know who that is yet. I don't know if that quarterback's in the portal. But if Emory leaves, you obviously got to get a quarterback. Mira quién es, el jefe. Hey, bro, I saw that you already did your show today, 8 o'clock this morning. First of all, I don't know when you sleep. Shout out to my brother Miami Flo. I don't know when you sleep. We were on a chat last night. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Discord. Again, if y'all ain't subscribed, ain't supporting Miami Flows Network, please hit that follow for them, hit that subscribe. College Football Express is crazy. Shout out to Rock and Rant with all the graphics. Please check out everybody who does this Canes content stuff. Listen, man, y'all got to join the Discord. There's things that are said on there that there's therapy that happens. There's bad draft pick conversations that happen in the thing. Those are the only things I'm going to mention. There's some crazy stuff. Appreciate y'all so much, man. Let's see what FTW says. Alderman Chess Waste Pubble, Washington. Washington is recovering from a knee injury. That's not like a breaking news thing. That is because he posted it to his social media. The only reason why I'm mentioning it. Alderman Chase said, what? Yes, has to go someone. All those guys don't have to go. You still need numbers. They rotate. I'm hoping Coach Heatherman rotates them, unlike Coach Guidry did, having Kiko run on a wheel route 60 yards down the field and then having to stop the A gap on the next snap. It was ridiculous. See, I don't want to do it. It's 2025. It's Easter. Look, man, appreciate y'all so much. I know this is not a day that we usually do this. Again, I said it a couple times. You catch us on the rewatch. We're going to be off tomorrow. We're taking Easter off, spending time with our families, man. Hope you guys are doing the same. I appreciate y'all so much. Everybody that's hit the like, everybody that's checked us out. 122 of y'all right now rocking with me on a random Saturday afternoon. Appreciate y'all, man. Make sure to hit that like button. Y'all be good. Be safe. For my brother Joe, for my brother Poke, for my little brother CB, have an amazing weekend. We'll be back on Wednesday, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Wednesdays and Sundays at 6. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. Be good, be safe, and God bless.